ranking the remaining coaches here in the playoffs. In reverse order, Paulie, 8th overall, the worst of the best?
Yes.
Is that what you want to call it? Okay. Todd Bowles, I have number 8.
So do I.
For the Buccaneers. It did not go well for him when he was with the Jets.
Right.
So it's been a very small sample size with him as a head coach overall, but somebody's got to be last on this list, and that's where I put Todd Bowles.
And someone had to win the NFC South. So
kind of by default.
Yeah, can't give him that much credit. Here's another reason why I still have him 8th as well, which, yes, you mentioned with the Jets. 21-17 Detroit on Sunday. Tampa at the Detroit 40-yard line, and it's I'll call it the 38. Tampa at the Detroit 38-yard line, and it's 4th and 3. What's he going to do? I'd say I may kick a field goal, the favorite.
Probably.
Yep. Then punt. And number 2. That's Todd Bowles.
That's who
very
he is.
Old school, very conservative.
Yep. Who do you have 7th overall?
McDermott.
Wow, we agree.
Yes.
I have McDermott 7th as well.
Yep.
I mean, overall, he is going to get... Oh, look at how many times they win games. Yeah, but also think about this. How good the roster has been for the last 4 or 5 years. And also what really happened to the AFC East after Brady left. So that all correlates at the same exact time. So is McDermott really this genius of a head coach? I don't think so.
Right. Didn't squib kick. Cost him a chance maybe to win the Super Bowl as well.
Yeah.
That was a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
That still comes back to haunt him.
Yep.
And then Dorsey was the fall guy this year as well.
Wasn't going well. Pin the blame on somebody else. And you're right. Like previous mistakes these coaches have made are going to weigh in with how we rank.
Yeah.
Right? Rank these guys right now in the order. And you're exactly right. That Chiefs game should have been over with.
But the other candidates, though, you want to point to lack of talent or lesser talent and unbelievable turnarounds. That's another reason why you have to have them down the list with the other guys we're going to get to.
That's right. Okay. So far, we're 2 for 2. Who do you have 6th?
LaFleur.
Wow, we're 3 for 3.
Youngest roster in the league. I'll raise my hand. I thought he was a below-average coach, but what he's done with Rodgers gone now, and to do this with the youngest roster and then go into Dallas and hammer them, and how well Love has played down the stretch, I have LaFleur 6. He's done an excellent job.
He really has. You're exactly right. It was very easy to pin all of that success on Aaron Rodgers when he was there because Rodgers won those 2 MVPs and he played out of his mind.
Winning 13 games every year.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, you want to talk about previous mistakes? This guy's going to have to win a Super Bowl, I think, before I forget what he did on 4th down against the Buccaneers at home.
That's a good point. That was bad. That was awful.
You're down by 8 points.
Yep.
Late in the game. You haven't had a solution. You couldn't stop Tom Brady the entire game, and you kicked a field goal to make it a 5-point game.
Yep.
Hoping to get a stop. You never saw the ball again. I couldn't believe what was happening. It's 4 years ago. I can't get over it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he's gotten a lot better. The play calling and the decision to do this with Jordan Love, I think really it's like both guys deserve a lot of credit here. But the early play calling in games now, and when you look at 9 straight games where Green Bay has scored the first touchdown.
Yep.
That's like out of the gates. You know what you're doing. The scripted plays have been fantastic.
Yep. Concur on all of it. Number 5, I have D'Amico Ryans. And that's going to be awkward if Stefanski now wins Coach of the Year. I mean, they just played in the playoffs and Ryans won. I understand it's a regular season award, but this organization was atrocious. 3 wins, 4 wins. He comes in and immediately, with a rookie quarterback?
Yeah.
And he immediately comes in and takes them to a division title and they win a playoff game by 30 points? How about the video that came out yesterday telling, I think it was Nelson, I could have the wrong guy.
Harris, maybe?
Yeah. But saying, here's what you're going to do here. Look for this from Flacco. Next play, pick 6.
Yeah.
That's great coaching.
I actually have Dan Campbell, number 5.
All right, I have him 4. That's okay.
Okay, so we flip-flop him there.
Same thing. How bad were the Lions? So I know we criticize him for too aggressive and fake punts from his own 15, but come on. What Dan Campbell's done the last 2 years. Well, great job.
The in-game stuff has haunted him.
Yes.
Okay, over this year for sure, done a couple of really bizarre things, but you can't, the way that he has motivated the team and that rah-rah attitude has really worked. I know it's fun to mock him and the biting the kneecaps, and he has, 7,000 milligrams of coffee every day by the time you wake up. So he's actually covering that guy. If you lived and worked in media in Detroit, it's got to be a blast to cover him because he's an unbelievable soundbite. But the fake punt still, and always by default, just going for it on fourth down. Look, I mean, yes, you embrace the analytics, but every single time, I think you got to know game flow, situational football on top of that has to be a factor. And he's too emotional, as Michael Lombardi's called him before. He's reckless. And I look at D'Amico Ryans, and first of all, what a job by selecting Bobby Slovic for his offensive coordinator. D'Amico Ryans is a defensive coach, and this has been an offensive story in what they've done with C.J. Stroud. This guy has done an amazing job in year number one.
A little conservative, though. Kicked a field goal from the 2-yard line on 4th and goal.
Right.
To go up 3-0 last week. I mentioned what he did against the Colts in the Week 18 game. He wasn't lined up ready to go 4th and 1 at midfield. They had to punt there, and then he punted 4th and 2 also from midfield. But still, I mean, I know you think he should win Coach of the Year. Certainly Stefanski couldn't have been 1-10 going into Weeks 18. And that's still, I think that's going to be a close vote coming up.
As do I. So then 1 through 3, I think this might be the most difficult part of the entire order, although you really can't go wrong at the same time. 3rd, I have Harbaugh.
So do I.
They define the word consistency in Baltimore. They're always a player the way it seems. They've had a lot of injuries in the past.
Here's what I love also. The regular season success. But if he does something in-game, why'd you go for 2? Why'd you do this down 13? He always has an answer ready, and he knows every analytical decision and why it was made and has it ready for the reporters afterwards.
Right. It's not willy-nilly.
It's all thought out. It's everything. He knows exactly what he's going to do in every situation. And go back to last year as well. Now, it was a bad job with the clock management in the final 2 minutes. He should have won that game. Silly turnovers, right? You fumbled at the 1. Should have beat Joe Burrow on the road with Huntley.
Yep.
Great coaching job.
Yeah, and so if you compare the soundbite with John Harbaugh after a game when he is criticized or questioned about it in-game to something that Brandon Staley would say over the years, it's completely different. Staley he never really had, we have an analytical answer for every single, well, then explain that. Why? Why is the play calling so bad then when you're in 4th and short and you go for it every single time? Why? And then you changed your mind because the media got to you. Why would you change your mind? Now, this guy used to be automatic, Harbaugh, in terms of going for it, and he settled for field goals down the stretch this year rather than going for it more often. But remember that year in 2019, that was like 4th and 3 at our 40-yard line. We know we're going to get the first down. You're not going to stop us. And if you don't, or if you do, we have such a good defense that you're not going to move the football on us anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, and again, I could probably have this guy number 1, but I have a number 2. It's Kyle Shanahan.
I have Shanahan 2 and Andy Reid number 1.
Yeah. I love Shanahan. And if anybody puts him number 1 for remaining head coaches, you're not going to get an argument from you whatsoever. I know that you're going to point to his number 1 a Super Bowl. Andy Reid has 2 of them now. I get it.
Well, one guy has Mahomes. The other guy had Garoppolo.
Exactly right.
And Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah. Look at what he's done with Mr. Irrelevant. Now, the organization here, they don't screw around. They put together an amazing roster for this guy, and they thought that they were one more weapon, like they needed Christian McCaffrey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they go out and make that trade happen to even take him up to that next level. But also, how much credit does he get for Brock Purdy's success? Probably a lot.
Yep. And Andy Reid, certainly, he took a lot of abuse in Philly. I mean, the guy went to, 4 or 5 straight NFC title games? And what he did?
Oh, yeah.
So, Andy Reid's success prior to Kansas City. He's got a great resume.
Yeah.
And you have to love the stuff off the bye with this guy his whole career.
Sure. And with Mahomes again, this is the first road playoff game. That's pretty much all you need to know.
Yep.
Is that they get the job done pretty much in the regular season every single year. And, made those runs towards Super Bowl titles as well.
I mean, this was very easy.
Yeah, this one was boring compared to the quarterbacks.
That was the quarterbacks almost impossible.
Yeah.
Yep. And interesting, too, to tie it all in, to Dan Graziano on ESPN.com. They asked him what he thinks is going to happen, where these coaches are going to wind up. Chargers, Harbaugh. He's been told Harbaugh really likes Herbert. He thinks Harbaugh to the Chargers. Vrabel to Seattle. Hunch and sources, the timing also, the day after Vrabel was let go, Carroll was let go. Aaron Glenn to Tennessee. Former player, the appeal as a former player, much like Dan Campbell. Ben Johnson to Washington. Callahan to Carolina, the Bengals OC. Slowick, if it's not Callahan. And Belichick to Atlanta. If it's not Belichick, dark horse Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson. That's one man's opinion, but that's what he thinks based on what he's hearing and what he thinks the direction these organizations are going to go.
I would disagree with one of those. Maybe he's right on it, but I would disagree with that direction. I think if you're Tennessee, you need to go after Ben Johnson or Bobby Slovic. You need to get an offensive guy.
Yeah, I'm with you. He has Slowick mentioned too as possible candidate with Tennessee as well.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
I would think it's going to be Slowick.